Hello and welcome to episode number 95 of the Hobbies and Happiness podcast, where we talk about the hobby that makes us happy, card games. My name's Dan.
And I'm Jim. And today, the DC Dual Force is here.
So I had to record that multiple times.
First try.
And you know what? I was thinking about it today. We're switching it over to card games. The hobby that makes us happy, card games.
Card games.
I mean,
I don't even like tabletop gaming.
you know, like I was listening and watching some old content today. Yeah. And I was like, we keep talking about card games. And even in the podcast episode I listened today, which we'll talk about here in a minute, we even talked about it in that episode where we're like, we can't deny it. We're card game players. We love card games. And yes, we enjoy the physical games. And yes, card games are tabletop games, but everything that we're doing.
Not all tabletop games are card games.
Which is what we're talking about today. So, all right, well, we've got a few things to cover before we get into the episode, okay? The first being, head over to our affiliate link, www.audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness to sign up for your free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible service. If you like audiobooks, even if you don't like audiobooks, you should sign up for free and try them out. So if you follow that link, sign up, you get, like we said, a free 30-day trial of the service, and you get a free credit added to your account. What's better is if you're an Amazon Prime member, which a lot of people are, myself included, you get two free credits added to your account where you can, when you sign up, you can use those free credits for free books. Okay. So again, Prime member, 2 free credits added to your account. If you're not, you do still get that one. You can cancel before the end of that 30 days if you don't like the service and you want to get out, but you still get to keep those free credits on your account. So again, audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness. Sign up for your free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible today. Okay. So this has been a long time coming. I listened to episode 29 of our podcast again today.
A year and a half ago.
That was when DC Dual Force was first announced, and that was when we first talked about it on the channel. You know it's been a while because when I was listening to it, it was in my condo before we moved, and I was preparing everybody, being like, I'm getting ready to move, and so we've talked about that one episode where we sat on my couch. Yep. That was your favorite time, wasn't it? You liked that.
God, that was the worst episode I've ever done.
Not because of what we were talking about. I don't even remember what we were talking about that day.
I don't know.
I think it was Marvel Champions, maybe? I don't know. I cannot remember for the life of me. I just remember Jim was miserable. Because that couch was so not comfortable. It really wasn't. It was
we were
so
there for
bad.
like an hour and a half range, and I just didn't move at all. And I was like holding the mic, and I just didn't want to move. Oh, that's right.
We held it. We held
the mic.
Oh man, that's good. Yeah. So that was that. Oh man, those it brings me back, man. It is bringing me back. So in that episode, we talked about digital card games. So that episode was devoted entirely to digital card games. Yep. And so we talked a little bit about DC Dual Force because that was when it was first announced, and we knew literally nothing about the game. Their stuff has changed, obviously, but Jim, I was telling Jim today, he was guessing on a lot of stuff, and he was like 100% right on like everything that he had.
Worst part
about.
is I don't even remember any of it.
But dude, neither do I. Like I remember that we talked about it, but before I listened to the episode today, I wouldn't have been able to tell you either. Yeah. So anyway, last thing. This actually, there's one other thing. This coming Saturday, the Hobbies and Happiness Community Game Day. So if you are in the southwest suburbs of Chicago, if you're in the New Lenox area, don't forget, this Saturday, oh goodness, is that June 11th?
10th.
Is it the 10th?
Yes.
Okay, so Saturday is June 10th. It is June 10th. Thank you. Yes. Saturday, June 10th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Come hang out at the Lincoln Way Special Recreation Association building in New Lenox, Illinois from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We're going to be there. We're just going to hang out with the community playing games. Not all of these games, but a lot of these games I'm just going to throw into my car, and then we're going to bring them over there, going to hang out, have a good time. If you want, bring over the games that you enjoy to play, share them with folks in the community, meet some new people, come say hello to us, and we would love to see you guys out there and just hanging out, playing a bunch of games.
Real quick, what do you think is going to be the most played game there?
Magic.
You think so?
If I think. I mean, I'm not going to be playing it. I will tell you that. I mean, I might play a game of Commander or two, but that's it. Why? What do you have?
I think Dungeon Mayhem's going to take it.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. Yeah, Dungeon
I know
Mayhem.
people that'll play it 7 hours straight.
Dungeon Mayhem or Red Dragon Inn.
Yeah, it's
Red Dragon Inn.
I can't wait for Brady to bring
Brady.
it. I
Yeah,
need
Brady.
to hit him up. Like, don't forget it.
I have talked to him multiple times and said, Brady, you better make sure that you bring Red Dragon in.
Brady,
dude.
if you don't have it, go back home, pick it up, bring it back.
Yeah, I think Red Dragon, and I know there's going to be people playing the DC deck building game.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be people who are going to be like ogling all the cards and be like, oh, this is awesome, and it is
Are
awesome.
these all sleeved? Yes.
How much did you pay for those sleeves?
Don't ask questions while Dan's wife is here.
They were free and they're all donated.
We're sponsored.
Sponsored.
Thanks. Call me.
Thanks, Dragon Shield. Okay, we're not sponsored, all right?
We're not.
We're not.
Hashtag
We're not.
not
We're not sponsored. Okay. Now the other thing is, don't forget tonight, Jim is streaming.
Yes.
So
I'll be live streaming some Hearthstone. I like the Mercenaries game mode.
All right.
And play some old school RPGs is what it seems like.
Yeah, Jim played Diablo 4 last week.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I'm terrible.
Really?
I'm not good, Dan,
No?
at all.
Oh,
I thought
man.
I was going to be good. I really liked playing during the beta.
Yeah.
And then I missed the game, and because this was a couple months ago, and I actually missed playing the game.
Oh,
But I'm just not good at it.
You're just not good?
Yeah. I don't even have my mount yet. I don't have my horse. The game's been out for how long now?
what? 2 days?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It doesn't happen.
2 or 3
time.
days.
Yeah, it's been a couple days.
Someone's max level, and I don't even have my horse. What am I doing?
I think you have a life, Jim. I think you're working.
Oh,
You know,
right.
there's just stuff
I
going
have
on.
a life.
Yeah. So yeah, so Jim's gonna be streaming now at least once a week. So for the most part, I think Jim, you're gonna be streaming on Wednesdays.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be streaming on Fridays. We're gonna try and expand that schedule, but that way we're hanging out with the community every week, at least one of us. And then what I would like to do, we used to stream like every other weekend on Saturday doing tabletop games. I'm hoping to get back to something like that. Whether it's both of us or just one of us, because that's fun. That's fun too. So yeah, so we're looking at expanding the expanding the stream schedule again. So all right, let's get into it. We're talking about DC Dual Force.
Yes.
Okay. Now, one other thing though, I was having this problem last night, and I don't know if it's because I'm tired or what, but I feel like I'm dumb.
Okay.
I feel like I'm so dumb because I can't talk. I feel like as I'm going through all these cards for DC Dual Force, I'm making a bunch of videos for DC Dual Force. I'm right in the middle of my set review. So I'm going through each faction color by color, right? And then going through every card that's been announced, right? And I'm finding myself being like, this card's good. Yeah, I like it. This is good. This is bad. I'm like, I'm like, what am I like? This is not helpful to literally anybody. I'm just like, I just feel dumb. And see, like even right now, I'm just struggling to words because words are hard.
You know, I can kind of fix this. There's no better card than Cyborg. Like I just looked at all of this stuff. I'm like, Cyborg's broken.
All right, so Cyborg is cool, but I'm looking forward to building Batman gadgets because Batman is my favorite character. Okay. All right. So right now, Jim, tell people where you're at from DC Dual Force. What do you know about the game? Like, do you know like anything?
Honestly, I forgot so much stuff in this last year and a half. I remember there's like
even
multiple
then,
lanes.
But even then, we didn't really know anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that there's like multiple lanes and cards can be placed in front or in like a back row, or maybe there's like 3 different placements. I forget exactly.
Okay. All right.
And that's like all I remember.
Kind of it.
Yeah.
All right. So
And it's DC.
This gives me a good opportunity. If you haven't yet seen, we'll link that video here, and it'll be in the description if you're listening to the podcast. Excuse me. But I did a video basically saying everything we know so far about how to play DC Dual Force. And so in that video, I went over just that, what we know about how to play the game. All right. Deck building, the cards, pretty much everything that we know so far. Okay. So go check that out. I'm going to talk about that video briefly just to kind of catch Jim up to speed with where we are with the game. Okay.
Yes.
So essentially, what DC Dual Force is all about, okay, is players are going to build they're going to build 40 card decks based around 2 leaders. Okay. Now, those leaders are going to be from one of 2 factions: Might, which is red, Tactics, which is blue, Energy, which is green, Anarchy, which is orange, and then Tyranny, which is purple.
Ooh.
Okay. So let's start there. Okay. So let's go through the leaders for each faction. The majority, so each faction either has 3 or 4 leaders. There's a total of 17 leaders announced so far. So for Might, red, you have Superman, you have Wonder Woman, and you have not Flash. Who's the third one? Aquaman, that's right. That's who it is. Okay. So let's look at each of these leaders first. Okay. Now, actually, before we talk about the leaders, I think it'll help to go through what happens on your turn. Okay. So I think in order to talk about the leaders, we need to talk about this, and that's the resources and then the charge system. Okay. So each leader has access to what are charge abilities. So on your turn, at the start of the game, you draw 4 cards. Okay. You can mulligan it away like any other digital card game. Okay. Pick which ones you want to keep, pick which ones you don't want to keep, and they get replaced and you keep. Okay. Each turn you draw a card and then you generate a resource. Okay. In addition to that, each leader gains a charge. Now, each leader, you have the ability to spend charges to use their ability. So I think it's essentially called a charge ability. Okay. So for Superman, for example, Superman's charge ability is you pay 3 charges, and Superman gets +7 attack and invincible this turn. So the goal of the game is to deplete your opponent's leader's defense to 0. So each leader has a health or defense value. Health, defense, they're used synonymously. It's the same thing. Okay. Now recruits are the minions, and they have an attack value as well as a health defense. Now at base, leaders don't have attack values at base, but for many of them, you can pay charges to give them attacks for either the turn or for the rest of the game. Okay. Black Adam is actually a good example of a leader where you can give him an attack and he'll retain it for the rest of the game. So Black Adam says, after you deploy a recruit with 5 attack or more, charge Black Adam. You can pay 10 charges and Black Adam gets +10 attack. And that's not for the rest of the turn. That's for the rest of the game. Wow. So if we look at, let's look at Batman, for example. So Batman is a tactics leader. You can pay 2 charges. Batman gets +3 attack this turn. Seek one of 2 gadgets. We'll talk about the seeking and gadgets in a little bit, but his attack buff, you only get it for the rest of the turn.
Okay.
So the way I see this game so far is a mix of Legends of Runeterra and Elder Scrolls Legends, and we'll touch on Elder Scrolls Legends here in a minute. So again, now let's talk about how to play a little bit. Okay, so each player is going to be in control of a 3x2 grid. So their board is a 3x2. So 6 total slots. Now, at the beginning of the game, you place your leaders in the rear corners, the back corner slots. Okay. So you have your left leader and then your right leader. And so you can pick which side you want your leaders on. I don't know if that's going to matter. Like if that'll actually be interesting if they make leaders better on one side or the other. I doubt that's going to matter, but it would just be interesting if you see something like that.
At some point, they might do that.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, right.
Like having a right arm of Exodia and a left arm of Exodia.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how the game starts, right? You've got your leaders in those corners, okay? So 3x2, meaning you have 3 slots in the front, 3 slots in the back, okay? Those rear corner slots are your leaders, okay? Now, when it comes to attacking, those front that front row protects the back row. Now it protects what's immediately behind you.
Yep.
Okay. So if you have Superman and Batman, Superman's in your back left, Batman's in your back right. If you have something in those front left and front right, they will protect those back corner slots.
Right.
All right. So it's not like every card in the front protects the card in the back or protects the entire row in the back. It's just what's directly in front. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So you follow so far.
Yep.
All right. So there is a ton of keywords which we're not going to talk about now, but we can touch on them.
Nobody got time for that.
We can touch on them if they come up. But I will be doing a separate video all about keywords, so stay tuned for that. That's probably going to be this week. If anything, it'll be this weekend because this week I'm spending a lot of time going through the set review of all the cards. So stay tuned for that if you want to see more about DC Dual Force. Okay. Okay. So again, 40 card decks led by 2 leaders. Okay. Now, when you deck build, okay, you have to have 20 and 20. Okay. So 20 cards for leader 1, 20 cards for leader 2. So if you build Batman, Superman, for example, okay, Batman is Tactics, which is the blue faction. Superman is Might, which is red. So you have to have 20 cards. It's got to be that half and half split. Yeah. So 20 red cards, 20 blue cards. You are able to build mono factions. So you can build Batman and Batgirl, for instance. Then you have those 40 blue cards.
Yep.
Okay. So that's deck building. Okay. Okay. Rarity system, 4-color rarity system. You got common, super, I think it's common, rare, super rare, and then ultimate. Okay. And you were right. You were spot on. You were spot on with that. I listened to that episode today.
Beautiful.
And you were spot on with the it was that color in the middle of the card.
Yeah.
So if you go to, honestly, if you look at any card that's not leader, okay, you'll see.
I was gonna say I don't even see any.
Yeah, not on the leaders. You got to look on all the other cards. So if you go to like recruit, for example, there's that colored. That colored diamond in the middle of the card. That's the rarity. Okay. Yeah. Now, the other very interesting thing about this game is the rarity system. Okay. So the way it works is not each turn, but for the most part, you're going to have access to 2 resources. Okay. And it is a metal-based resource system. Okay. So basically what it is so the resources have like 3 tiers. You have the bronze tier, which is the lowest, silver tier, which is the middle, gold tier, which is the highest. And again, you were spot on with that. You called that.
Yes.
Which, I mean, again, if you're familiar with other card games, like, it makes sense, right? With the position, with the position on the card. Okay. Yeah. So now here's the way it works. Okay. Turn 1, players have access to 1 bronze resource. Turn 2, they have access to 2 bronze resources. Turn 3, 1 gets upgraded to silver. So now you have 1 bronze and 1 silver. Turn 4, 2 silver, because that other resource got upgraded now to silver. Turn 5 and beyond, one of them gets upgraded to gold. So you have access to 1 gold and 1 silver resource.
Okay.
So it's basically you can play 2 cards per turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's say you have a gold and silver and all you have are bronze cards. You can still only play 2 cards.
Yep.
Okay. You can use a gold to pay for bronze. You can use gold to pay for silver. You can't use bronze to pay for gold, for instance. Right. Okay. Now, there are some cards that are free. Batman's gadgets are examples of cards that are free. If you look at cards, if you look in these, where you're going to see the cost of the card, if that's black, that means it's free. So if you go to, just so you guys know also, what we're looking at right now is the card database. How do you feel about the fact that there's already an official card database for this?
I'm so happy.
Like, isn't that pretty cool?
Like,
isn't that pretty sick?
What is Lorcana doing? You know, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I had to slip it in there.
Yeah, I know. So we're both looking at that right now. But if you go to card type, you can select created. Okay. Wow. So created is basically tokens, like tokens that are generated through other cards. Okay. But there are some cards that you will see that are black, that are free. Yeah. And again, if you go to cost, there's free. So you can filter by cost. You can filter by card type, by cost, by rarity, and by set, which is already interesting because there's There's 4 sets that were shown right now. You can see Green Arrow, Origins, Promo, and Shazam. I'm assuming the initial set is going to be Origins, and then it looks like they're going to do a Green Arrow set, a Shazam set, and then whatever promos there are. So that's already interesting. So I'm curious, what do you think about the resource system? Because I think this is very, very unique. This is very interesting.
Oh, 100%. I do like it. It's different, right? So you don't have to worry about like the mana, even though it's kind of mana. But a bronze card, if you're spending that gold on it, it's like, oh, I overpaid for it. But if you don't have a more optimal card to play, then it's not really a problem.
Right.
And I do like the, that building over time. You first get your 1 bronze, then your 2nd bronze, and then that one upgrades to the next one. And it limits you to playing 2 cards, which is also different.
Yes. And okay,
are there instant speed?
No. There's no instant speed. But again, look at a lot of other digital card games like Hearthstone. I mean, Hearthstone's a big one.
Yeah.
Hearthstone doesn't have it. Elder Scrolls Legends doesn't have it. Legends of Runeterra does to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, not to an extent. They straight up do. Yeah. And Legends of Runeterra does it very well. I mean, Hearthstone is still extremely popular, and that doesn't have instant speed.
Yeah. I guess I should kind of also reword it a different way.
Yeah.
Is there ways to play like a trap card essentially for whatever the cost is, and then if your opponent does something to trigger it?
Not right now. Not right now.
Okay.
Yeah. At launch, there's nothing like that.
Gotcha.
But do I expect there to be something like that? I don't know, maybe. But I mean, there's already other games on the market that don't have those types of effects, and I don't know if the majority of players are looking for stuff like that, especially the casual side.
Yeah.
They don't really want to think that hard into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, judging off of a lot of this stuff, it's all sorcery stuff. You don't really have to worry about anything on your opponent's turn. You just play either proactively or just realize what they have on board if you're behind and try to play around it. It seems like it's going to be pretty quick. In terms of gameplay, especially since you only have those 2 things you can do anyway. But it's also going to be very impactful, those 2 things. So it can either really set you behind or really set you above.
Now, it's important to note that the recruits are basically the minions, okay? They do have summoning sickness, so they cannot attack the turn they're played unless they have a keyword called speed. Speed is basically haste, okay? So that is important to note. Now, I reviewed the tactics faction. I keep saying fashion. But because I talk too fast. So I go the tactics fashion. You got to get that faction. That enunciating.
Yeah, the faction.
Okay. So one of the things that I'm very interested in is, and I feel like I talk about this in a lot of card games, but it's color identity, like what each color is supposed to represent. All right. So the first faction that I reviewed was tactics. Okay, blue. Okay. There's a lot of card draw in blue. Okay. What I'm struggling to understand right now is the value of a card and drawing a card. Okay.
Yeah.
The fact that you can only play 2 cards.
Yeah.
I do right now. Okay. Again, this may change when I start playing the game. Okay. But there are cards like there's a token called an investment. Okay. You can get investments. And an investment is basically, it's a cantrip, draw a card. But you have to spend a bronze resource to do that. So I'm like, I don't know how I feel about a card that all it says is draw a card, and I have to spend a resource to do that. Yeah. Now, drawing cards is universally one of the best things you can do in card games, right? Is draw more cards. But this is the first time I'm having to evaluate it in a context where you can only do 2 things in a turn. Now, granted, this is also coming from someone who doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player because I think that's the other good parallel. Okay. So that being said, I want to know your opinion, your take, because you are a Yu-Gi-Oh player, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. So what is your take initially on card draw and having to spend a resource to draw a card when you have so very little that you can do on your turn?
Man. It's terrible. Especially if like it's for Yu-Gi-Oh! If you were limited, right, on what it is you could do and on your turn, unless you have the pieces, like card draw just isn't great. Especially coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's you don't really get card draw. It's more of just go find whatever it is you need and put it onto the field.
Yeah, right.
So there's a lot of tutoring effects.
Well, hang on. What about Pot of Greed? Isn't Pot of Greed like the best card ever?
Some would argue. Yeah, some would argue, but again, it's also banned. You could also say it's like, all right, are you better off drawing these 2 cards or playing 1 card to go get you exactly what you need to continue a combo, and you can get more value from it?
Right.
To where 1 card can get you a +7 in value, where the Pot of Greed is +1 in value.
Right.
Unless you're Mimian, then it's draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
And then you play Pot of Greed again to draw 3 more cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very difficult to say because obviously the Pot of Greed can get you stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to get, except with so many combo decks out there, you play 1 card to go get exactly what it is that you want, and then build your board up from there. So being limited in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh, that's rough.
Well, again, I'm trying to draw a parallel from DC Dual Force to a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because again, Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a similarity of you can only play 2 cards on your turn, right?
What?
So with Yu-Gi-Oh!
Normal summoning.
Normal, yes.
Yes.
That's
you can normal summon
normal
once.
summon.
Okay. I didn't know exactly where we were going with this.
So
yeah, you can
Yu-Gi-Oh!
normal summon once.
You can normal summon once, and then are you able to play another card?
You can special summon as many times as you want.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which is why, again, there's also the meme of people picking up like their side deck and just fanning it out, special summon, special summon.
Right.
Yeah.
Making it rain. Is normal summon basically just playing a card?
Yeah, it's playing a creature. Yes.
Okay. Because Pot of Greed, what's Pot of Greed? Is that
Pot of Greed's a spell card.
That's a spell. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it you can do 1 spell?
No, you can.
You can do as many spells as you want.
Unlimited spells per turn, and then you can play as many traps per turn. But I guess it's up to 5 technically because you have to set them all for your first turn, and then you can play them on either your opponent's turn or once it goes back to your turn on your turn. So. Yeah, spell cards you can play as many as you
can tell, I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. I played it once on the channel.
You can play as many as you want. So aside from the normal summon, that's all I got. For
all right. So there's this 1 card in Tactics. Okay. So if you go to search recruit type in bronze cost,
again? Red?
Blue.
Okay.
Blue. Okay. So it is a recruit and it's bronze. Okay. It's Bruce Wayne. Okay. I mean, or you could also just search Bruce Wayne if you wanted as well. Okay. All right. So he's a 2/2 recruit. Okay. With the ability to deploy and start. So you get this effect when he deploys onto the battlefield. It's ETB. And then also has start of your turn. Okay. Create an investment in your hand. Okay. So it cantrips replace itself in your hand with this investment. Excuse me. But again, the investment is a bronze card that says draw a card. Okay. So how do you feel about a card like Bruce Wayne? There's also another card. Let me search for actions because I think it is a bronze action as well. It is business venture. Create 2 investments in your hand. It's a bronze card with create 2 investments in your hand. So you're not drawing them, you are creating them in your hand. Okay.
Right.
Which that's one thing that digital card games can do because, like the Discover mechanic in Hearthstone. Okay. It's that you're essentially adding cards to your deck, which you can only do that in digital card games. You can't do that. I mean, I guess theoretically you could do that in tabletop card games, but it's just harder to do. Just get your tokens basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But what is your opinion? Because these are the effects that I was really scratching my head with. I'm like, okay, I don't want to say it's bad because I feel this is where I'm talking about where I felt dumb because I'm like, how can I say drawing cards is bad? Like it's not bad to draw cards.
Yeah.
But in this context, I'm like, I'm struggling.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. And it does seem like there's other cards that can combo well with it, like the cyborg to deal damage. Like there's things that help.
Having a top end like cyborg of just I'm gonna casually deal 20 damage.
Which I don't know because it says enemy characters aren't leaders.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Beautiful, best card in the game.
Yes, it doesn't state recruit because there are cards that specifically say recruit.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that is why cyborg. I looked at cyborg and then as I'm going through all these draw cards, I'm like, well, you just bide your time. You just draw all your cards, bide your time with cyborg, and then boom, hit you for 20. Okay, you're dead. And then you just have to build up all your charges. Okay.
And what happens if you deck out?
You do lose.
You lose the game.
You lose.
Okay.
Yep.
40 card deck.
Yep. But there are so the energy faction, the green faction. Okay. There's a card. It's called Lightning Bolt. Okay.
Yep.
Now Lightning Bolt.
I was looking at them.
Deal 3 damage and draw a card. Now I think it's Shazam.
Yeah.
Shazam just creates, but he creates. You can add. He adds 5 lightning bolts to your deck.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of other Shazam. There's a bunch of other Shazam characters that synergize well with that, and they create more lightning bolts. So if you're just creating all these lightning bolts in your deck, drawing, hit you, draw. Shazam and Cyborg.
Yeah, it's really eyeballing.
Oh man, dude.
I'm like, am I about to play Simic Man? Am I about to? I might be.
Yeah, yeah. That was one where I'm like, oh man. I saw that and I'm like, Jim is gonna love and hate this.
I'm gonna love it.
But you're hating it because of the color.
So much. Okay. All right, but
yes.
We also did talk about in Lorcana that I do kind of like green because it's more of like a Sinister-esque feel.
Oh yeah. So, right.
And the Flash, that's definitely not a green card. If we were to put the Flash in Magic, that ain't green.
Okay, but if you look at the Flash though. So the Flash is a 17 health leader with a 2 charge ability. Pay 2 charges. The Flash gets +2 attack and flurry.
Is flurry double strike?
Kind of. You can attack twice.
Gotcha.
Okay. So you can attack 2 different characters. It doesn't have to be the same one. Okay. So that's where it's different from double strike.
Yeah.
Okay. So it man, if you can imagine just giving the Flash +10 attack. You can do that twice. That's
bop, bop.
Yep. That can be good. But yeah, Shazam, because Shazam. Now I'm looking at Shazam again here. Pay 3 charges. He gets +5 attack, but creates 5 lightning bolts in your deck.
Yeah. Which you said deal 3 and draw a card.
Yeah. Let me look at it because that is a created. That's a created.
That's really good.
It's a created card. Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt is free. It's deal 2 damage. 2 damage to an enemy character, draw a card.
Dude, I don't care. Best card in the game.
Wait a second. Wait a minute. What I just realized, if you don't have any cards left in your deck and you haven't drawn it yet, you activate Shazam, create 5 cards.
Goodness. You don't deck out ever.
You don't deck out, but if you create those and then you're able to draw another card or you already have one in your hand, you just 12 damage. That's 12 damage because you already have one in your hand, and then you created 5 more. Oh my goodness!
Or you could just play Fatigue Shazam and never have to worry about decking out. In theory,
in theory. I think
Control Shazam. Are we about to see this?
Oh, I probably
Control Shazam.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah, so this week, as I'm working through all these videos, I'm also going to be brewing. And that way here, let's talk about it right now. But this coming weekend is a streamer beta weekend. Fingers crossed that I'm able to do that. We get an invite. I'm not holding my breath. I think they probably invited whoever they're going to invite for that, but who knows? If you're listening, CCG Labs and all you guys, hit us up, okay? But the following weekend is an open beta weekend, okay? So open beta weekend, that weekend, I will have to make sure I have decks ready to go that I know I'm going to want to play and try. And then I'm going to have to do a lot of recording that weekend just to get content ready to go for that. But yeah, Shazam Cyborg, man, that's going to be really interesting.
That seems like it's going to be nuts.
Yeah. Just really leaning into that lightning bolt synergy.
Because it seems like you're able to like just obliterate someone's leader like instantly.
And the way that I think this works is, since it's free, you could just string together all of these lightning bolts, dude.
Is there max hand size?
10.
10.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So keep that in mind. Which again, I'm used to that because again, that's Elder Scrolls Legends. That you had a maximum hand size of 10.
Hearthstone.
Yeah. Yeah. So that seems to be standard fare for a lot of digital card games. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Now let's look at all these leaders. Okay. Now because I didn't select any of them. There we go. That would be right. Okay. All right. Okay. So at launch, I think they're going to have 17 leaders. Okay. So
just going through all this stuff, I'm excited to play it now.
Okay.
So excited.
Me too. Same. Now, one thing that I want to touch on, because we're already like 36 minutes into this. I don't want to be here all night. Okay.
We definitely could be.
Yeah, I know. But one of the things that I want to talk about, if you look at all of these cards, okay, there's one thing that we as card game players talk a lot about, okay, and that is artwork. That's artwork for these games, okay. Now, I've been hitting up few people that, few friends of mine, okay, about this game, and kind of just getting their thoughts and opinions so far. Now, before we talk about the artwork, okay, my understanding is at launch, this is only going to be PC, okay? No mobile release yet. I know my understanding is they are actively working on a mobile release. Now, I talked to one person who did say the game is dead on arrival because it does not have mobile. Okay. I can understand that argument because especially in this market, consumers are really, really, really looking for mobile games. Okay. However, I hate playing Arena on my phone. I despise it. Now I don't play Arena a lot, right? But if I'm gonna fire it up, I'm gonna play it on my computer. I do not want to play that game on my phone. It's clunky. It's not that it's clunky. It's just there's a ton of stuff there. Okay, I mean Marvel Snap is brilliant. Marvel Snap is just a brilliant game because I'll play a game and be done in 3 minutes. Okay, and I think it's going to take a long time for another game to evolve on that. Okay. I think Ben and his team did a phenomenal job in the development of that game. And I think there's a reason we've seen a lot of card games just do the same thing time after time. It's hard to innovate and come up with something new. And I think that's what Second Dinner did with Marvel Snap. Now, this game is still very interesting, okay? I think there's a lot of interesting ideas, and I think DC Dual Force is going to bring a lot of new stuff to the table. So I'm definitely interested. But the artwork, okay? One thing we talk a lot about in the card game space is original artwork. Everybody loves original art, okay? So the question that I want to get your first take on this is, when you see a new card game and you see there's no original artwork. Okay, there's been other games where it's anime and there's just anime screen grabs just plastered onto the card. I know people are like, well, that's just lazy or whatever the case may be. Okay, does the lack of original artwork, is that in general, will that hurt a card game? What do you think?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, Disney and Lorcana, if they didn't have original artwork, you think that's going to hurt the game? Do you think it's going to hurt the game now? Because I think
secondary market maybe.
Okay, but here's the thing. I also think it's a different talking point of hurting the game versus helping it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think you can hurt the game. Because I think they're different conversations, right? I think if you don't have original artwork, it's not necessarily going to hurt the game, but it won't help it. You know what I mean?
I kind of see it in terms of how we talked about like the IP versus gameplay of like, just because it's a great IP doesn't mean it's going to last or be a good game.
Right.
I think the gameplay is really what's going to matter. So that's what I'm looking at.
I do think that with card games specifically, you know, we've had these conversations of IP versus gameplay, right? But I think when we talk about TCGs and CCGs, there's a third topic, and that's artwork, right? Because the artwork is so relevant and integral to these games. Like, it's a huge piece. I mean, it's part of the collectability.
Yeah.
Right? So I think when you talk about trading card games, you can't help but talk about artwork. Okay. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. So my take is, with this game in particular, I don't think the lack of original artwork is going to hurt the game. Okay. I do think what the devs are doing with this game is they are leaning heavily into the comic book origins and motif of DC Comics. Okay. So they are, I mean, all of this artwork is pulled directly from the comics.
Yep.
And I think this game, and this, I mean, this is like the one IP that you can do this with is comic books. Okay. So, I mean, there's DC and Marvel. I think those are the two main companies that you can do stuff like this because they already have a big history of artwork, right? They already have big staples and phenomenal artists and phenomenal artwork already in the vault for these comics. Okay. And so, I mean, and that's part of the reason. I mean, I'm not huge into comics. I mean, I don't have like a ton of comic books, but I definitely appreciate them. And I think one of the things people appreciate about comics is the artwork, right? So the fact that they're able to pull art directly from these stories, I think I think if you lean into it, like, you can be successful. You can be successful. And I think that is what DC Dual Force is going to do. So I mean, what's your take? What do you think about that?
I also don't really see it being a problem because I am assuming 90% of the people playing this game haven't seen this artwork before anyway. So to them, it's brand new stuff.
I honestly, I wouldn't put that number at 90%.
You don't think 90% of the people haven't seen like a bunch or haven't seen a bunch of a bunch of these artworks?
So what specifically are you saying exactly?
So you're all right. I'm more so saying, so like for 90% of the people, this is all like brand new stuff to them.
Oh, I would not say that.
You don't think so?
I do not think so.
You think that many people have read the comics and have
there's a
attention?
There's a difference though between specifically reading the comics and seeing the artwork. A lot of this artwork is pretty popular, and I've seen a lot of this artwork in other DC media.
Oh, yeah. Like when I was going through it, I was like, yeah, that's definitely from DC Deck Builder. That one's from Deck Builder.
Well, but hold on. It's not from Deck Builder, though. Because,
right.
You know what I mean?
But I'm just saying, like, where I saw it from.
Okay.
Because, again, like, I'm going to be playing. I assume there's going to be a lot of people playing this game that don't really know a lot about DC, especially the comics.
That I don't disagree, but I don't think it's going to be 90%. I honestly, I think there's a lot of people in this space. I mean, I think a lot of people in this space are already big comic nerds because I think there's a lot of people in this genre, in this space, who probably grew up on comic books. Right. And when you grow up on comic books, it's either you grew up on DC or you grew up on Marvel. So if I had to put a number to it, I mean, I'd probably say right around 50%. I would not go as high as 90%. I can understand. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, there's going to be a lot of people who haven't seen who this is going to be their first exposure to like the exact comic books. And like the artwork where these came from.
Yeah. So why I'm even saying 90%, because I'm not saying like all of the artwork brand new, but a good chunk of it they most likely haven't seen.
I mean, there's definitely some. I mean,
or if they have seen it, they probably forgot about it.
maybe. Like maybe like I understand the sentiment. I understand what you're trying to say. And one of the things that I was also thinking about is what I would love to see is in the game. If you click on a card, I want to know where that's from. I want to know what comic book this piece was pulled from specifically. That is something that if you lean heavily into it, that can work in your favor. And so, because people love to appreciate artists, artwork and artists. Yeah. And I think you give them the opportunity to. I mean, you had to use the artwork. So you know exactly where you got it from. You know where it's from. Tell people, show us the comic book. Okay. And speaking of comic books, we will talk about PvE because you're gonna love that. Okay. But I mean, personally, I would just tell me where this artwork is from, and then have different versions, have different Batman skins, like have different artwork for the Batman. But I would also love to see different faction leaders. So, for example, like I would love to see a Batman in Tyranny, a Tyranny Batman, an Anarchy Batman, because again, through the history of the comics, and again, I think there's so much potential with this game because of the history of DC Comics, and there's just so much there. And I think Corey Jones he's really looking forward to really exploring the history of DC Comics. And I think this is the perfect medium to be able to do that. So, I mean, for me, I've been a DC guy my entire life. You know, I grew up on Batman the Animated Series, grew up on the comics, and I love one of my favorite graphic novels is The Long Halloween. I would love to see stuff from Long Halloween make its way into this. But anyway, that's.
I was gonna say I was also just thinking about it. I think you're right at the start. It being closer to 50% from what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Once it goes to mobile, 90%.
Jim got me while I'm swallowing some Diet Coke here. Yeah, good point.
Once it's on mobile, it's 90%.
Yeah,
I'm calling it.
Yeah,
Maybe 99.
Yeah. I mean, people my age, there's like I recognize a lot of this artwork.
Yeah,
I recognize a lot of it.
I don't recognize because again, I don't know anything about the comics.
But also, did you grow up on DC Comics? Like, did you grow up reading the comics?
No, I didn't read like any comics. So this is like all brand new to me.
Yeah. So, there's. I mean, like if you're into the comics, you're gonna recognize a lot. You'll probably recognize a lot of this artwork. Like Zatanna, like I know where that's from. There's a lot of artwork here that I recognize. But okay, again, we could be here for a long time, but we're gonna move on. Okay, so let's talk about PvE. PvE is gonna be a big focus of this game. Okay, they talked about this a lot in the 2021 GameSpot article. Okay, it's just crazy to think about 2021. Oh my goodness. Been waiting for this for a long time. But so they are going to be leaning heavily into PvE, okay? And the way that they're going to do it is again leaning into the comic book history. So they're going to take comic book storylines, and you're basically going to be able to play through the comic books. So they're going to be like, okay, here's this comic book. You can select the comic book and then play. They're going to adapt the story to a game, okay? And so it's PvE, play against the computer, and then get rewards, okay? Now they plan, as of that article, they plan on doing new events weekly. So new PvE events every week with rewards specifically for that event, okay? So one thing that I read, Willow did a great video on this, by the way, and he talked about, I think, that's 150 free cards through just PvE events. Okay. 150 new free cards. And then plus they're planning on doing, I think, 3 sets a year. So 3 big expansions with like 200 cards. Was it 200? No, that's like another 150. So the way he worked it out was it's like 600 cards a year, which is freaking crazy.
That's so ridiculous.
Which is exactly. But then I was also thinking about that from a Magic standpoint, I'm like, I wonder how many new cards they do a year in a typical year of Magic the Gathering. I wonder how many new cards through all of the different sets would that equate to?
Say, doesn't like every set have like around
It's like
200 and
it's over 200.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I was thinking like around 125.
No, a typical standard set is like 240 cards ish. Yeah, it's somewhere between 200 and 250. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty typical standard set. Yeah. Okay. Now, again, that's specifically standard legal sets. So, and those are, what are we doing? 4
a year.
4 a year. So that's already, if you do 250, that's 800. That's over 1,000 cards. That's crazy, dude. So, anyway, PvE is going to be a big focus with this. And then let's talk about the factions, because this is where I'm most interested. Okay, is these color identities, right? Might is red, Superman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. Then you have Tactics, which is blue. You have Batman, Green Arrow, Cyborg, and Batgirl. Then you have Energy, which is Hal Jordan, Shazam, and you better believe I did the Shazam. So it was Hal Jordan, Shazam, and the Flash, and Zatanna. And then you have Tyranny, which is purple, Black Adam, Poison Ivy, and Lex Luthor. Purple seems to be the black color for Magic. At least that's what it seems. And then Anarchy, which is orange, is Joker, Harley Quinn, and Doomsday. Yeah. Doomsday. And you know what's funny? Is I'm pretty sure when we talked about this way back then, we saw Doomsday. We literally did the Doomsday.
I think I do it every time.
No, anytime you see the word Doomsday, it's Doomsday. So, all right. Well, so what are you? So going after all that, Jim, like, what are you kind of looking forward to here? Like, what kind of piques your interest the most? The most with this?
Wow.
I know there's a lot there. I know we just kind of.
I've been saying it for quite some time now, Dan, is probably all the theory crafting I can do with all of these different cards.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm just looking at stuff, and I just found out about Savage Vines. I'm like, this card's broken.
Yes.
I'm going to match it with blue or something after you draw a card. And leaders, plural, leaders lose a shield.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, Poison Ivy looks sick.
That's sick.
That is super sick. Yeah, and it's summon. So that means it goes directly to board. It's not into your hand and you have to play it.
Yep. So you could have out like 4 of these?
Yeah, you could have
and then
5. Technically 5.
Oh, yeah.
If you lose your other leader's gone. Yeah.
Oh, so we sacrifice him.
There's no way to do that yet.
All right, give us later. Give us time, boys.
I guess you could damage your own leader, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. But yeah,
for another Savage Vine to combo off, draw a card. They both lose 5. Think about it.
Well, hang on. Poison Ivy and Shazam with those lightning bolts.
Oh my goodness, man. It's over. It's over, Dan.
So you deal the 2 damage with the lightning bolt. You draw a card. You deal another 4 damage. Oh,
I machine gun. All right, we found the machine gun build, guys.
Oh, man, dude. All right, so I'm definitely going to want to do that. And definitely going to do Poison Ivy Shazam. All right.
Savage Vine looks sick.
Or Poison Ivy and Cyborg. That's another one, too. Yeah. But anyway. So, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Theory crafting is going to be a lot of fun. And the thing, too, like, for me, yes, I'm looking forward to that. But now I'm theory crafting around these characters that I grew up on, and like that I have just this. I have such a personal connection to DC Comics, so I have Batman was such an integral part of my childhood. Like Batman the animated series. I honestly want to see some Batman the animated series skins. Like, get me those Batman the animated series skins. I mean, the variants in Marvel Snap, I was talking with Flake today because I was asking him specifically about the artwork, okay? Because I asked, I said, do you think lack of original artwork is gonna hurt these games? Okay. But then he was like, you see how crazy people go for these comic variants in Marvel Snap. And I'm like, that is a perfect point. Now they also have a lot of original artwork in Marvel Snap. They're working with some awesome artists, but they also are pulling some of these variants directly from the comics, and people go crazy for it, you know? So I'm just like, that's a good point too. So I don't think the lack of original artwork is going to hurt. It just, if you lean into it the right way, which I think hopefully they're going to do, like they have that potential to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, I also see it of people who haven't seen the artwork, they get to see some cool new artwork to them. And people who know about the artwork, they can like relive it in a different way.
Right. And appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I really don't see it being a problem.
Yeah. 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 It's just, I'm going to be interested to see if there's going to be people who complain about it.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I know. Yeah. Right.
Of course. Dan, it's the internet. They're always going to complain, no matter
very
what.
True. Now, before we move on to the card of the week, you know, I was also again listening to that podcast. Dude, we've come a long way. Like I remember I listened to it this morning. Yeah. I listened to. Hello, welcome to episode number 29 of the. I'm like, holy cow! Yeah. I think both of us have come a long way when it comes to just being on a podcast, but not also video. Yeah. Like we've come a long way, Jim.
Yeah. The more you do it, the more you do it. Air 5.
Yeah, Air 5.
Here, we'll make it seem like on the video we snack cans.
Well, this version actually isn't going.
We'll edit it later.
We'll let it go. Bam. Okay. So anyway, all right. Well, let's move on. We're going to move on now to card of the week. Okay.
Shazam. No,
it's not Shazam. Okay, so card of the week. We are moving on to a different IP.
Yes.
Okay. Another very popular IP.
Yes.
So Jim, what's been going on in Magic the Gathering? Isn't there like some big
something
set
about
coming?
Like people walking and like even the trees were walking in the movie and like it was just
hey man, they're Ents. Okay.
Even the tree folk were walking.
They're called
in that
Ents. Okay.
Yeah, same thing. Okay. So Lord of the Rings has a set coming out for Magic, and you know it's they have a lot of cool stuff in it, a lot of controversy, and one of these amazing cards is the card of the week.
Yeah. So Jim, why don't you talk about it, because this was your pick. You want to talk about this. So why don't you talk about it? Who is it? Who are you talking about?
I don't think there's any better card. All right, there's definitely better cards, but this one really jumps out at me.
Really good. Yeah.
Sauron, the Dark Lord. Yeah. He is a Grixis card, so you know I'm loving my boy.
Yeah.
3 in Grixis. So
as soon as he
6.
said Sauron, I'm like, let me guess, he's Grixis.
He has to be, right? Like, there's no other color choice. Sauron or Grixis is the most evil of the colors in all of Magic.
Yep, true.
Well, true evil.
Yes.
If we're going like Jun, that's more of like stupid evil. Because
how dare you?
I say stupid evil because it's just like the guy who goes out and kills everyone, to where Grixis, they're making the plan to take over everything and rule.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Sauron, the Dark Lord. He's a 7/6 for 6.
3 in Grixis, so 3 in a blue, black, and a red.
Yeah, 3 in Grixis. He has ward ability. So if you target him with something, it gets countered unless the player sacrifices a legendary artifact or legendary creature.
That's already crazy.
That's already difficult.
Like, okay, but here's the thing. In this set, that's not going to be that big of a deal, right? Because there's going to be a lot of legendary stuff.
Yes.
But in other formats...
Yeah.
In Modern...
He's also 6-drop. Like, who's going to play
Well, yeah, you're not going to play this in Modern.
You're not going to play
You're not playing this in Modern.
No, not at all.
But isn't it crazy that this is Modern legal?
Yeah.
That's just insane to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
All right. So then it has, whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1. So now this is the second amass army that we have. The other one was the zombies from Our Devastation, I think.
Yeah. Or the Spark.
Or the Spark, yeah, that one. And so now we're able to just have 2 really big creatures, which is what I really wanted to do. have both amassing creatures.
Yeah, so amass a zombie and amass
Amass an army.
Yes.
And then he has, whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. And then it has, whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4 cards.
So there's a lot here. Okay, but it's basically it's a 7/6 for 6
With upside.
with a lot of upside. Wow. But that ward is crazy.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah, that ward is difficult.
It is. It really is.
It's, if you want to kill my thing and your commander's out, you got to get rid of your commander.
So crazy.
Well, that's with targeting it,
Yeah,
right?
specifically targeting.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But there's a lot of board wipes, so there's other ways.
Yeah. So, okay. I think in order to talk about this, we do have to talk about the ring. Okay,
Yes,
the ring,
very important.
The ring mechanic, the ring token. So, whenever you see the ring tempting you, okay, it's basically you bring in the ring token. It's a token. And how did you describe it? It was, what was it, like a not delve? You said
yeah, it is like delving into a dungeon from what's
yeah.
The D&D set.
The D&D set, yeah. That's right. So it's a token that there's like 4 levels. Okay, so whenever the ring tempts you, it's basically an equipment that gets attached to a creature. Okay, now there's 4 different levels. Okay, so the first level is your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Second level is whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then discard. Third level, whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices it at the end of combat. And then level 4 is whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. Now, my understanding is it gains all 4. If it's at level 4, the creature that is your ring bearer gets all 4 of those levels.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes. Now, how crazy is that? There's also a card called the One Ring.
Yep.
You can have both on the board at the same time.
Well, I mean, there was a bunch of different rings, but this ring
That's true.
is mine.
Yeah, that's true. So the other side of so this is basically a token. Okay. The other side, basically it tells you this. So it says, as the ring tempts you, you get an emblem named the ring if you don't have one. Then your emblem gains its next ability, and you choose a creature you control to become or remain your ring bearer. Okay. The ring can tempt you even if you don't control a creature. The ring gains its abilities in order from top to bottom. Once it gains an ability, it has that ability for the rest of the game. Okay. Each time the ring tempts you, you must choose a creature if you control one. And then each player can have only one emblem named the ring and only one ring bearer at a time. Okay. So I think in the context of the game, this makes it makes sense.
Yeah.
This makes pretty good sense. Okay. So what's your opinion on this ring token? What do you think about it?
It's cool. I mean, it's a little gimmicky.
I was gonna say, is it a gimmick?
It's a little gimmicky. I ain't gonna lie.
I think it works though. You know?
Yeah.
I do think it's a gimmick, but I think it works.
Yeah. Especially since it's not, that one ring. It's just the ring. So there's a bunch of rings out there, and the Lord of the Rings, and so it kind of makes sense when you're playing in a pod with other people. You can all have a ring.
Yeah, and you're all humans. So how many rings did the humans get?
I think didn't the 7? I think
it was 7.
Yeah,
I think it was 7.
Dwarves had 3, or elves have 3.
Okay, you're testing my knowledge here. How many rings were made? Here we go. All right, 20 were created. 3 for the elves, 7 for the dwarves, 9 for the race of men.
Okay.
And 1 for the Dark Lord to rule them all.
One ring to find them all.
And in the darkness bind them. That's how it ends, I know.
One ring to bring them all, and in the darkness binds them. I think there's like 3 parts to it, and then it ends like that.
Yeah.
Nerded out.
Dude, I just want to sit down and rewatch all those. I love those movies so much.
I rewatched the first one.
Okay. All right.
What?
I thought you were gonna say The Hobbit.
No,
Like, don't let's not talk about The Hobbit.
No,
all right.
I rewatched The Fellowship not too long ago, and I was like,
Extended.
yeah.
All right, so you gotta watch the extended. It's only the
It's
extended.
only the extended
Only
ones.
the extended.
And I rewatched, and I'm like, I really enjoyed this one.
Oh, it's my favorite trilogy of all time.
Yeah. I really like that first one.
Yeah, the first one is great, but they're all good.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And the last one, when Aragorn comes with the ghost army,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But they just see him as like, you're with 3 dudes, like, we got you, and then the ghost army just comes plowing through.
Yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful.
It was so good. It was so good. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, that is this week's card of the week. Sauron, the Dark Lord. Are you gonna build a Sauron deck in a Commander deck?
Probably should.
He's just gonna keep playing his mono blue. Who is
Talleyrand.
it? Talleyrand. There we go.
How do you forget? I've been
I don't
playing
know,
for like
Jim. I don't
5
know. Don't
years,
ask.
Dan.
I don't know. I don't know how I forgot that. I had it. It was here somewhere.
I get you.
It was there somewhere.
Right. Words are hard.
Words are hard. Like I said, like I was telling you at the beginning. You know what I think it has to do with?
What?
So, I haven't been preparing for these things for these episodes and for videos like I used to.
Yeah.
And I do feel like when I did that, I was much more eloquent with my speech. But but if I don't have something to go off of, I and for those of you who have listened and watched for a while, I stutter a lot if I don't know what I'm gonna say, and I feel like I just kind of make stuff up. I don't know. I feel like I just get nervous, and I don't know. I feel.
Just be like Elon Musk, where you just pause.
Oh yeah, but what in videos though, like I hate dead air.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I hate dead air and stuff like that. But I did watch that video, and I'm like. Is it still going? I didn't know. Like that one interview, he paused for like a good 20 seconds.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. So, all right. Well, that's going to be it for us today. Jimbo, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at Jim Morgan HNH.
You guys can find me on
stuff.
Instagram.
DG Campbell.
Instagram at daniel.g.campbell, Twitter _DG Campbell. If you head over to our website, www.hobbiesandhappiness.com, you can find links to all of our social platforms there. It'll find links to our Facebook, Twitter, everything. I've been on Twitter a lot today and this past week with DC Dual Force being announced or the beta. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And again, head over to our website. You can find links to everything there as well. Don't forget, if you are watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when we release new content, especially for DC Dual Force. Like I said, I'm working on a lot of DC Dual Force stuff this week, and that's going to be coming out this weekend, and then next week as well. And then also, we're going to be working on Alpha Clash stuff because I've got Alpha Clash coming in. I'm very, very much looking forward to that game. I'm having more and more fun each and every day with that game and cannot wait for that. So that's all we got for you today. Thanks everybody for hanging out, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. See you, everybody.
Take care.